following video clip contains strong language and has therefore been rated 18 plus by the YouTube NECCA. Viewer discretion is advised. YouTube, NECCA, and the makers of this video do not condone the usage of foul language in any situation or circumstance. The explicit content shown within this clip may also be disturbing viewing for mature adults. All people in and involved with this video are innocent until proven guilty.
Yo, what's goody people? It's your boy Cash First, one half of the Fix for New York podcast. Back at it again. My co-host Z Dot will not be here with us this evening. But shout out Z Dot. We love him a whole bunch. He again he's not here with us physically, but he is here with us in spirit. God bless the brother, but who I do have here with us this evening is a dope, amazing individual, somebody that I got tremendous love for, One of the reasons also I want to get rich to have this motherfucker around me more often. I fucking love you, be the fucking man. In times where I felt alone in the LP and shit, on this side, the New York side, because there's bigger libertarian parties in other states and shit. You've made it very welcoming for me, so my motherfucking brother right here, wanna give it up for the one, the only, David. Motherfucking Fight D, fight for liberty, motherfucker. Let's get it.
Yo. Thanks for having me back. In person this time. So this is cool.
In person, so we gotta put a validation on that one.
Yeah. This is better than Zoom and Skype and all those other shits. We've been doing too many virtual podcasts lately. It's nice to do one in person.
Word be. We've been utilizing the advancement of technology via the current questionable demic that we're experiencing.
Questionable demic.
It's very questionable, Pitbull said it, shout out to OG, Pitbull on Drink Champs. He was and we saw as well, stats of people dying of other causes.
Oh, yeah.
And don't censor me on this. Please don't censor me. Respect my First Amendment. Suddenly dropping, pneumonia, fever, all this other shit, and then everything being titled COVID. All that and shit. But yeah, find that shit strange. So yeah, we've been utilizing the advancement of technology to be able to execute on, the actions we want to get done in order to be productive, help spread awareness and inform the masses.
Right. We've really been able to break this this idea that online doesn't work for some things. We've been fighting for the idea of online schooling or working from home, homeschooling. We've been fighting for those kinds of ideas for decades, and people keep telling us that it'll never work, that we can't do any of this stuff remotely, and then we had to prove ourselves right here. So that was kind of nice. Being somebody that I've done a lot of remote jobs. I was homeschooled
oh, word?
Yeah. All the way 11 years. I graduated a year early, but it was nice to show the world that we can replace some in-person things with technology. The thing is, we can't replace all in-person things with technology because we still need human interaction, and that's the problem. We're starting to we overcorrected, and now life kind of sucks, and everybody's lonely, and now the winter's coming back, and we have seasonal affective disorder, and it's shit's not going great at the moment, but it started out nice. And I hope that, when this, questionable demic ends, we'll be able to go back to some sort of medium where, the people that want to work from home get to work from home. And the people that want to go to work get to go to work.
I could agree with that. definitely there has to be a human interaction. And pardon me, I was letting you get your point out. While I was in the middle. You feel me?
We gotta get this White Castle in our systems. Shout out to White Castle.
Shout out to White Castle
for being fucking delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if this is real meat, but like it tastes good, so that's all.
And I want to apologize real quick. I'm a semi-vegan. I'm working on it. I don't want nobody, getting upset at me and shit. But it's good. And sometimes you gotta eat, and something that's dope and available, and you flip a coin. You feel me? It's lit and shit. Like you can't deny that shit one bit. Matter of fact, like.
For anybody that wants to know if that's real, yeah, we did actually flip a coin
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what we were gonna eat. That happened. So
Mm-hmm.
it was between White Castle and Papa John's.
Word, yeah. Oh man, good choices. Good choices.
We out here in Jersey, so stuff
Whoa,
isn't.
we
like,
we could be anywhere on this planet. We could be in Toronto. We could be in Texas. We could be
my bad.
we could be in Florida. We could be in Mexico.
I want to be in Florida right now because it's Florida is looking better. Like everybody made fun of Florida. It was a meme for like decades, and then now all of a sudden we've got like dope ass cannabis activists running for Congress and shit, and like
It's about time.
cool fucking shit's going on in Florida right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we've needed too, because war on drugs is unconstitutional, folks.
Facts.
Locations can be anonymous, so you never find that out. B, like, we're seeing a major shift occurring, and that's basically the topic we want to touch on tonight. The importance of voting, and as y'all see right now, if people were allowed to vote, should businesses be like shut down due to the current questionable demic or not? I'm pretty sure there'd be a high turnout of people saying, hey, like, maybe we want to have access to the businesses and we could just follow whatever precautions we believe in. Some people want to wear masks, some people don't want to wear masks, Like, I believe in freedom of choice there. And people from all sides get mad at me when it comes to my respect of freedom of choice when it doesn't favor things that they agree or disagree with. Like, you know what I mean and shit. But if you want to wear a mask, wear one. If you don't want to wear one, cool and shit. But I'm pretty sure if people were allowed to vote, we would see a good portion of them saying that, yeah, maybe we don't need to be shut down so bad, and we could be going about life as normal as possible and just follow our precautions as we choose to do, and that's it. Like that's my perspective on it. What you think, brother, man?
I definitely agree that if people fully understood the weight that their votes carried, they might show up. But the thing is, like, lockdowns were on the ballot this year, basically. Like they weren't actually, but it was a pretty big issue, and it was a pretty good, like, partisan divide, right? So for the most part, regardless of what you were voting for, the lockdowns were on the ballot. You had a candidate that wanted them, you had a candidate that didn't. I'm not saying that people should have voted Republican, but I'm just saying that, like, there was an option to either end or continue these lockdowns on the ballot. People just didn't want to make that connection. They didn't want to, and I mean, we had the highest voter turnout ever this year. So, I guess the problem is getting better. it's still not at 100%. So
No, definitely not at 100%. And I'll, like, my personal perspective, and many could agree, I'll connect that to lack of being informed
mhm.
with what's going on. People don't comprehend the correspondence with elections, legislation, and the outcomes of it, you know, becoming the laws that we gotta abide by, or certain policies that we're forced to follow sometimes. So again, it's about informing people. Perfect example. A lot of people, they either didn't want Biden, didn't want Trump, didn't know about that there was other options, and also failed to, like, those who knew that there was other options, they failed to realize the power of quantity. Let's say
Right.
so many people who voted for Biden and for Trump would have voted Joe Jorgensen. Boom, right there. You know, we could have easily got that off, and then we would have been living like.
The problem that a lot of people fall into the trap with, and this doesn't even just have to do with libertarians, but like every movement in society has a problem of like coming to a logical conclusion and then just not being able to understand how other people don't come to that logical conclusion, even if you just came to that conclusion like 30 seconds ago. So you know we have this problem with racism in this country. Is a great example of this. You know we had the entire country like just kind of woke up to racism in this country. Or an even better example is our terrible foreign policy. Like when 9/11 happened, most Americans' reactions was, "What did we do to them?" Well, they didn't know that we've been bombing them for 30 years. Like we all just went like, "What?" So we woke up. But I'll go back to the racism example because it's a little bit clearer. You know, people wake up. You know, George Floyd happens, and millions of people's brains flip, and they finally understand what systemic racism and police brutality is like.
Yes, yes.
And it's amazing. And then all of those people turned around the very next fucking day and called everybody bigots and racists and pieces of shit for not having come to that conclusion yet. And it's like you literally just got there. You know, you didn't get there with Ferguson. You know, you didn't get there with Tamir Rice. It took you till George Floyd. So maybe it's going to take this person till Breonna Taylor. Or I think they happened the opposite way. But, you know, maybe it's going to take this person till something else. Or maybe it's going to take you having 4 or 5 conversations with them before they see the light. But if it took you decades to wake up, you can't just be pissed that other people haven't woken up yet. And I think that's what happened with Joe Jorgensen's campaign a lot as well. You know, a lot of people walked around like, well, Jorgensen's the best option, clearly, so people should just vote for her. And, like, anyone who's not voting for Joe Jorgensen is an idiot. Even though I didn't vote Gary Johnson, even though those same people didn't vote Gary Johnson in 2016. But they're saying anyone that's not supporting Jorgensen is just an idiot who hasn't woken up yet, and it's like.
I'll admit there was people saying that.
Yeah.
And then like.
Yeah,
Myself,
I mean, obviously not everyone. There was a
but
still
I'll
a good
say
movement
I'll
to
say
get her
myself
elected.
included, when I've gone to the extent of like simplifying my explanations as to why. It can get frustrating as well as times, and I'll admit, like, you know, I'm a heavy advocate of anti-emotions, but it just agitates you because what's tied into these particular times of emotion is the acknowledgement of a tool to be brought about to solve a problem once and for all. Like, hello, you know, comprehend it, you know. So that would be like our perspective on it. Like, even though it's still keeping emotions at a very low level, explaining like, look, if you look at it logically, like, this is the best option and shit, blah blah blah. But along with that, I agree with with what you said, and it's gonna come back to what I said as well. We can't expect them to instantly catch it and have it click in their head,
Right.
but we still, from yours to mine, we still want to take the actions and spreading awareness,
Oh, for sure.
informing people,
Yeah.
and trying to let them know, like, if we move faster, if the necessary actions are executed upon
Right.
faster rather than slower, we could get things solved faster. So it's definitely a mix of both, and it's about how do we be as effective as now. Perfect example what you and I do, and this is shout out Jason Bassler, by the way, the one of the admins of the police on Instagram and Facebook. Dope ass page, by the way. Matter of fact, that earns that as well. DJ Horn and shit. Infotainment is what he called it.
Mm-hmm.
So we're informing people while still entertaining them. That's something I've always talked about with the Libertarian Party as well. We could be entertaining. Trump, he gained a lot of traction from being entertaining.
Right.
That's something we could utilize. And even Kennedy, like, you could look back on Kennedy, you could look back on Reagan, you could look back on George Bush pre 9/11. They had us like welcoming to him because of the comedy show. That's my Bush. You remember that? With Bill Clinton, like, we got entertained because he would always be like making like slick, like similar to Reagan, like little slick like jokes and shit.
Yeah. You can play the sax like a motherfucker.
Yeah, so
you gotta love it.
It's something about having that
You can't hate
entertainment.
somebody that can play that smooth jazz, man.
Yeah.
He's got to have a good heart.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter that he raped a bunch of people.
Well, man. But yeah, B, so you always gotta have, like, it's like seasoning is like a lasagna. You gotta have your layers to it. Where seasoning
what?
is about putting some type of seasoning. You just can't have it full
18
dry.
minutes. 18 minutes in. It took him 18 minutes to talk about lasagna, folks.
You feel me? Wait,
I
see,
love it.
you can't have dry food. You throw some seasoning on it, give it a zing. It's touching all that. And with lasagna, you gotta layer it correctly. It has to be a well layered lasagna, So we're doing infotainment. We're well layering our lasagna. We're seasoning the information we're providing to the public and making it simpler to understand and keeping it from being boring as well. So you feel me? Like, all right.
Facts.
George Jorgensen's campaign as an example, we learn from our mistakes and continue moving forward. We don't just give up,
And we can look at the other half of the campaign.
Go ahead.
Spike Cohen and how some
Spike
of
Cohen,
his media
fuck
team,
yeah. Shout out Spike Cohen.
like,
This
I
goes
don't-
by default, pardon me, but
Facts.
shout out Spike Cohen.
Like they hit the nail right on the head with some of that infotainment, and even
for
now,
real.
he's doing media tours. He was on the Naturalist Capitalist. He was on Dave Smith's show the other day.
He's been on Kennedy a few times on Fox.
he's doing his stuff.
And shout out Kennedy, my bad, but
Facts.
Kennedy has been showing love to the porcupines. We appreciate that a lot. Getting the libertarian acknowledgement of existence out there. So thank you, Kennedy. Continue, my brother, while I indulge in this
Oh yeah.
White Castle real quick.
But yeah, so like we definitely got to see a couple of other campaigns this year that did what you're talking about and did a very good job at it. Hopefully, we're starting to see a couple of this year's campaigns trickle into a similar mindset, and I'm excited about that. There's a uptick. So what I really hate is this stereotype that all libertarians are like YouTubers in their mom's basement. Even though I'm a YouTuber that records out of my parents' house like a solid quarter of the time when I'm back home, like, because I go home pretty often.
Yeah.
So like I hate that stereotype, but it's pretty accurate. but we're gaining a little bit more traction. Some of the people that are doing this, and some of the people that are doing this for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even consider myself in that list. You know, because like, I'll be real. Like I started doing this because I wanted to, you know, meet people and get involved with things, and like I wanted to broadcast what other people were doing and thinking and saying. But there was definitely some selfishness in it. But there's some of my friends that including yourself, you know, there's just like this. There's this movement of just actually bringing people together to accomplish real goals within the liberty movement, and to talk about it, and to get people unified and moving in that direction. And it's happening, and it's happening on podcasts, and it's happening on Twitter, and it's really weird. We were talking earlier about technology. It's really weird to see all of these versions of technology that have been used to polarize us and pull us apart for the last decade, bringing people together. It's kind of awesome.
So
I rambled a little bit there. My bad.
no, it's good. You went in depth, and I'm gonna actually give you 2 points to your credit, because I comprehend when we have so much information that we want to get out,
Mm-hmm.
we can miss a thing or two. Number one, you're currently like a traveling individual, so you don't really need a stationary domicile home.
Right.
So it's cool to be back with your parents and shit.
Nomad
you know?
lifestyle.
There you go, nomad lifestyle. We're trying to get shit done, and number one,
Not terribly fun. I would I would only advise it if you have thick skin and you know, a great mental health situation.
again, there's plenty of people.
Because it's not fun.
There's plenty of people that end up back with their parents. I've ended up back with my father
Yeah.
before, and it's all about how you bounce back up. There's like any boxer, they get punched, you know, not every boxer, even Floyd Mayweather, he might be undefeated, props soon, but he still got hit a few
Still got
times.
hit.
Oh no, we take these bumps, and it's about how we overcome them. So that's one, you know, in your credit. And then along with that, not everybody comes into politics patriotically, but we all come with an understanding of, if we can change these laws, one, like, you know, we change these laws, they work in our favor. And also two, it's about networks that you could find in order for employment or promotion, you know, like whatever you choose to do with it, you know.
Yeah.
So that as well and shit, you know. So I don't ever want you thinking that, you know, is not like, it's not like worth anything at all, because it definitely is, and it's definitely very strategic.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's not well thought out, subconsciously it's still strategic as well, and shit. And eventually, what happens is, when you come to the awakening that, because I think politics, when people really get involved, because even people on the far left and on the far right,
Mm-hmm.
even though the extremists will still have like their selfishness, shit, they'll still have certain things that is just like being considerate of everybody,
Yeah.
that we could acknowledge, as long as it's not an infringement of the United States Constitution, because the Constitution, pardon me, because the Constitution definitely protects the right of the biggest minority, which is the individual. And you could look at the 10 original Bill of Rights, along with the Bill of the other rights that came after that. I know the 13th and 14th Amendment are questionable, blah blah blah, but
Yeah, there's definitely ones in there that are
Mhm.
sketchy.
but for the most part,
Most of them are good.
we see, yeah, that they're mostly good, and it's about protecting the individual, both man and woman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so with that being said, people come into politics from different directions, but at some point or another, they come across this enlightening,
Mm-hmm.
and it could be a radical leftist who will eventually come to like the middle understanding, and then when they realize what the United States Constitution is, it could happen anywhere on the planet, but you know, we are in the United States, one, and this is allegedly the final front of like maximum freedom and shit, because even though Switzerland and Israel and a few other nations, Czechoslovakia and a few other nations have like firearms rights, there's still like stronger tyranny in comparison to us, you could be in the United States and say fuck the president, and you don't really gotta worry about being arrested to the level as in other nations, you know. So along with that, when people realize within the United States how they are protected via the United States Constitution, and whatever polarization side they come from, what brings them more to the middle, along with the acceptance, pardon me, of the actual acknowledgement of the Constitution, they realize, oh wait a minute, I could still have my selfish things, but I could be able to help everybody else as well. You know, it's like me with the Second Amendment and marijuana. I don't want to be getting arrested for marijuana, and I want to be able to carry everywhere I go. That still applies to me. That could be titled selfish, but at the same time, it's still a right that everybody else should be, you know, well within their existence to have by default, because it's common sense. Do as you please with your body, and have the best tool possible at your disposal for self-defense and preservation of life.
Facts.
Taking political action will either take us more in that direction, or lack of political action or wrongful act of political action will take us away from that. Hence, you know, groups that advocate for infringements, or people who just say, you know, politics and laws don't really matter because we can't do shit anyway, then that's a guaranteed loss.
Mm-hmm.
And shit, you feel me? And you know, you want to take it from there, my bad, brother.
Yeah, no, you good. You very good.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, there's. I don't even have much to add to that. I don't. Unfortunately, the only thing that I'll counter a little bit is like this idea that we live in a free country, because I don't think we do.
Oh, we're not that free, especially
Yeah,
not
like
right now. We're not that free. We got
like
mask mandates.
There is nothing, even pre-COVID, there was not
Censorship.
really a single thing that you can do that is not taxed, regulated or illegal.
Yeah, word. That's true. That's
so
true.
like we live in a country where we pretend we're free. We pretend that the Constitution like still carries weight, or that like any of our laws actually fit into the Constitution. But I think in reality we live in
These sub-statues.
Like literally none of the original 10 amendments are actually
being honored.
Being honored. Like none of them. None. I mean, and it's a really questionable and shaky take, but like Civil Rights Act is a violation of the First Amendment. Every gun law is a violation of the Second Amendment. Like the only thing that we're not violating.
My bad, real quick. Can you repeat that one more time? Every gun law is what?
Every gun law is a violation of the Second Amendment. It says the government shall make no laws. None. It says no. Like the word is no. Like shall not.
Shall not,
Shall
motherfucker.
not. That doesn't mean can maybe sometimes if we think it's cool. It says shall not. So yeah, the government doesn't give a shit about the Constitution. That's unfortunately my assessment of the world we live in.
Definitely, the current government doesn't. Oh man, this is why again. Back to tonight's main topic.
We gotta get out there and vote these motherfuckers out.
The advocacy and enlightening of how actions will bring us results. You can't just say you're gonna make a lasagna until you make it. It's not made. You feel me? It is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You can't say I'm pro Second Amendment, but you're not attending Second Amendment rallies. You're not advocating and voting for pro Second Amendment candidates.
Or you could be like Dan Crenshaw and actively vote against the Second Amendment regularly. Or you can be like Donald Trump and actively sign legislation that goes against the Second Amendment and then still pretend you're pro Second Amendment.
And Trump, let me tell you something, B. You, for doing all those types of things, man.
Fuck.
Honestly, like you've earned one of these, B. And pardon us that Joe Biden was delaying the access, but
Yo, I
Trump.
have to say though,
Good.
like I've started getting more active on Twitter over the last couple of months,
Mhm.
and you know that's actually where I spend most of my time, like most of my social media time now is on Twitter. It's weird without him. Like it's fucking weird. Like not having Trump on Twitter is fucking weird. Like nobody's really talking about this, but like it's just weird. Like you can talk about right or wrong for until the cows come home, but like just not knowing what he's thinking for the first time in a decade, it's weird.
Maybe we've been shooting him for a long time. You could pass me a bounty, please, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, not those, not
No.
those. Those dry one.
I got you.
Hey. But yeah,
It's fucking weird. It's like
and it's crazy because I've never been. Pardon me, that
no,
interrupted
you're
me.
good.
I've never been an active a follower of Orange Man,
You know.
but like on social media and the news, yes. But you're not the only one to say that it is weird without him being there. And honestly, facts are facts. Censorship is wrong. And I would say, like this is, I comprehended JoJo's point, but I do disagree with her because, by default, it's a social media platform.
Mhm.
So that's making it like some type of public like entity, even though yeah we do have to read the service agreements more thoroughly.
Yeah.
But this
Well-
is like they pull that petty shit.
Uh-huh.
Now I ain't vote for Trump the first or the second time. Gary Johnson and JoJo all the way, but they censored this guy. We have disappointments with him. 2017, 2018 National Concealed Carry Reciprocity.
Mhm.
Could have easily talked to Mitch McConnell about that. Hey, get that to my desk, man.
Yeah.
Let's do something constitutional for our citizens. He chose not to do so, you know. That right there within itself be like that ass, yo. Didn't decriminalize marijuana, could have done that very quickly.
Could have.
Especially after Jeff Sessions, boom, could have done that right away. Chose not to.
God, Jeff Sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, Jeff
Fuck
Sessions.
that guy with a 10-foot.
Just his existence is.
Yeah. Just his face is
Mhm.
kind of, you know, yeah.
Nah, feels it. I feel
Oh my
it.
god.
Little Keebler elf and shit.
Said Keebler elf. That's accurate. Yeah, I mean Trump could have done a lot of things he didn't, but I mean, why I don't. What
He had
I
a lot of
don't
words and no
understand
action.
Is but like honestly, I understand Trump better than I understand her support base.
Mhm.
Same with Biden. Like there was a clip going around. Actually, you know what? I might be able to pull it back up. No, I don't have good Wi-Fi. There's a clip going around earlier today that showed Biden at a town hall a couple months ago, or you know, back during the campaign, and somebody's talking about or asking him about ending or canceling student loan debt. He looks her right in the face and says, "I'm not gonna do that."
Oh wow! What?
Like, and that's the thing. Like, he campaigned accordingly throughout. Like,
And y'all still voted Biden?
of course they did.
Why would y'all do such a thing?
I mean, I don't. Where the fuck was this? Must have been Twitter DMs.
Y'all should have voted Jorgensen. Y'all wanted Trump out. Y'all could have voted JoJo. Hello again. Basic common sense, quantity. Come on, be people. How do y'all not get it?
Right. I mean, yeah, and now they're getting mad at him because he's not canceling student loan debt.
Thank you.
But he was never gonna cancel student loan debt, and he told you that to
Oh,
your face.
If you could find that soundbite, please.
Yeah, I'm scrolling up.
Do you need the Wi-Fi?
I I found it connected to the data. It was being really slow, but now it's not. I just don't remember where this conversation. I'm in too many group chats with too many different fucking people right now, and it's a problem.
Nah, I feels you. Well, yeah. Okay, while you look that up, I'll just keep it going. Like,
Yeah.
Trump had a lot of rhetoric, not a lot of action, and yes, he did some great things. He got us out of bad trade deals, contributed, didn't fully construct, but contributed to peace with the nations.
Friends and
Here we
fellow
go.
Americans.
I got
Oh, okay, here
Okay,
it is.
here we
Student
go.
loans are crushing my family, friends, and fellow Americans.
too.
The American dream is to succeed, but how can we fulfill that dream when debt is many people's only option for a degree? We need student loan forgiveness beyond the potential $10,000 your administration has proposed. We need at least a $50,000 minimum. What will you do to make that happen?
I will not make that happen.
Student loans.
He
are
told you! He told you he wasn't gonna make that happen. He told you that he believed that marijuana was a gateway drug. He said that in the second presidential debate. He told you to your face how he felt about these things. Same with Trump. Trump said, I'd like to take the guns first and due process second. He told you that before you voted for him. And then you guys got pissed that you got what you voted for.
Exactly, and this is again the importance of voting, people, especially voting what? Come on, Fight, you could tell them.
Voting on principle or
And
voting libertarian? Which
I
one
think-
were you going for?
Well,
Because
both.
they're the same thing.
Exactly.
Doing the Carlton dance out here or some shit. Like, sitting down somehow. I don't know how I was doing Carlton sitting down, but...
You're a man of unique talents, you know. But yeah, B.
I'm very
Voting-
talented in super shitty dance skills. That's-
Voting on principle right now, the most logical party to do so is the Libertarian Party. Why? By default, the Libertarians advocate for do whatever the fuck you want to do with yourself.
right!
We don't fucking care. Just leave everybody else the fuck alone.
Right!
Plain and simple. And along with that, we gotta remove a lot of unnecessary regulation, which is government overreach. Big Brother has way too much of government overreach, way too much authority. We giving them a little bit, and they just ramped it up. You know,
Yeah, I think...
like the tyranny has been real.
Mhm.
Go ahead. You
No,
were gonna
I'm
say-
just... Actually, I don't think this. I know this. They got a taste of what actual tyranny felt like early last year, and a bunch of these people went, "Oh, this is delicious." They just like Cuomo's been terrible, but like he murdered 100,000 people and got away with it, and then got an Emmy for it, and he went, "All right, we can," or sorry, an Emmy nomination. Sorry, not he didn't. I don't think he.
Even though he got the nomination, people like,
Yes.
come on.
Yes.
That does not make sense.
What type of shit is that?
Right. He got an Emmy nomination for his for those like daily new press conferences he was doing. You know how he
Oh,
went,
all of that
Fake news.
that he was putting out.
yeah. Well, so I mean, actually, I will give Andrew Cuomo a little bit of credit in this area. I'll give him props. He did a decent job at communicating some of the important information and keeping people semi sane and like okay for the first few months of the lockdown, like April, May, June, like when it first started being crazy. He was doing those daily things, and they were decent. I'll actually give Andrew Cuomo a little bit of credit that like he said what he meant to say. He said it well. And I have a lot of friends who are, you know, still blue-pilled, still, like, plugged into the Matrix, just living their life. They don't understand shit. A lot of those friends, like, were really comforted by that. They were really, like, kept sane by that. And so I give him props for, like, New York could have gone psycho.
Yeah.
Like we could have just like started burning shit down and looting shit, and like it could have been Mad Max up in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely give Cuomo a decent amount of the credit for it not doing that, because it definitely wasn't De Blasio.
What Cuomo has done is he's been very good at like speaking publicly and trying to make things sound as tranquil and polished as possible. Mm-hmm. But back in May, Trump had sent out the giant Navy ship, and those who know me know.
Oh my God, yeah, that pisses me off to this day.
So he had good rhetoric, but his actions, again, actions speak louder than words, right or wrong. His actions prove that he's full of shit. He talks a good one, but you gotta walk that walk, which he didn't. I could tell you I'm gonna make an amazing lasagna, and you're just like, yo, that shit is gonna be great, blah blah blah. But until I make that lasagna and you try it for yourself, boom, you have so many people who were diagnosed. You could have easily sent to the Navy ship, you know, and chose not to. And that was a big Navy ship that could have held thousands, you know, and we know. Military medics, like, they're very, very precise on their stuff because they need people to survive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's, like, their objective, like, hardcore, you know? They're very efficient with that.
Yeah, if anybody that's watching doesn't know the backstory on this one, like, the federal government actually sent us a ship that was in the East River to... like docked onto Manhattan to help out. You know,
West Side.
Sorry,
yeah.
You're right. It was on the Hudson. Docked to help out, and we just didn't use it.
Mm-hmm.
Complaining about hospital capacities and all of this stuff. We had just an empty medical ship.
Exactly, and if you remember correctly, you know, and this is all facts, there's plenty of video evidence out there.
Oh yeah.
The news was seeing that the hospitals was going crazy out here, but when you walk by an actual hospital, all you saw was...
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in the city during any of that, so I didn't get to see really how that looked.
It was dry out here. I went by several hospitals. You know, there was a few Democrats, a few Republicans, a few Libertarians, a few regular people. Basically, just people overall, you know. It's just due to behavioral patterns, you could pretty much determine which way they will be voting. That's why we have political parties.
Right.
Just people overall that were like, yo, but the hospitals ain't even crazy like that. We're like, what's going on and shit? You know, so Cuomo talks a good one. Those who don't see his actions and only listen to him talk will perceive him as a guy like doing some amazing stuff. He's a very good talker. He's a sneaky. He's got that mafia touch on himself, you know.
Yeah, his dad trained him pretty well.
Exactly. We'll give him props where his verbiage
He's a
provided,
good politician. Like,
provided a lot of comfort to the average citizen who's not so informed.
Yeah.
That's what occurred with that, you know. And again, this goes back to the importance of voting. People do their, you know, their proper vetting, you know, do your research and all that. They found out that Larry, back in 2018, and hopefully running again in 2018, but back in 2018, you know, he was...
Yo, I bet Larry's glad he didn't win right now. Because, like, could you imagine if Larry had been in charge during that? Like, not saying it would, like, it would have gone probably better than it did.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, like,
I get where you're
I
coming
would have
from.
felt bad for him. I'm like, if I was
the
him, I'd be
pressure
like,
and the stress.
dodged a bullet there.
Yeah,
Because
the
there's no
pressure-
way Larry, like, there's no way anyone comes out of this shit like with a gold star. Like, no governor is really gonna have an easy
'cause
re-election
It's
next
gonna
year.
be hard to please everybody. I
Oh,
agree
yeah.
with that.
Cuomo's gonna be out for sure. Whitmer is gonna be gone. Newsom's about to be recalled right now.
Oh wow.
I mean, we got the 1.5 million signatures. Like, Newsom's getting recalled. We just need to figure out who's recalling him. Like, who's replacing him, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Abbott's gonna lose in Texas for sure. Like none of these governors are getting reelected. None of them. So, like, if I'm Larry, I'm
Oh, I'm
like,
glad to
I
hear
dodged a fucking bullet.
And now he gets a better
And
chance.
now he gets to run against a damaged, fucked up Cuomo. It's a much better scenario.
You hear that, Larry? So let's get it. We need you to run again, B. That ass.
Yeah.
And again, you know,
Is that a question still? Is there a question that is he not running yet?
I cannot say.
Like, I don't know.
A lot of evidence leans
Right.
towards him running again,
Right. It's like,
but you know, there still hasn't been a valid stamp
that's fair.
placed on it.
That's fair.
You know,
I mean, I would love to see somebody challenge Larry Sharp for the Libertarian line for governor. Like, I'd love to see that. I just don't know that it's gonna happen. So I'm
the
kind of,
reason I don't think it would happen, just me, is because
maybe I'll run against him. I'll
Oh, wow.
primary him next year. Just kidding. Just kidding, Larry. I'm not gonna primary you. That's not gonna happen. I would, however, love to be your running mate.
oh,
That's
okay,
a whole
yeah,
different
that'd be dope.
conversation.
That'd be dope. Yeah. That'd be dope.
I won't primary, but like I said, like I mean, I would be intrigued. I would like to see a competitive primary, like, because we have, because by this time next year we have a dozen super popular, awesome libertarians with name recognition and donors and like an actual primary. That'd be awesome. But
Well, that's true. That's true. I could agree with that. Yeah, and definitely. Iron sharpening iron.
Mhm.
In a way, yeah,
Right.
and especially you in particular, because you've been very engaged. Like, you came from the right, but you've been very engaged with the left,
Mhm.
and having a lot of comprehension and finding common ground with them, but also explaining to them where they're incorrect at and how some of their beliefs are actually infringements,
Yeah.
which prove the blatant defaulted hypocrisies of how if we had their way of life, there would still be people getting hurt.
Yeah.
As to where libertarianism, ain't nobody really getting hurt unless they are facing some immediate danger, in which, via the Second Amendment, they'll be as well equipped as possible to defend themselves against. Then from there, sole responsibility for that, you know, action to be successful falls upon them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think for me the best part of libertarian philosophy, and the reason that it's enabled me to travel the country and talk to people all over the place on the political spectrum. You know, we'll shout out Larry again right here. The 80-20 rule. You know, if you agree with me on 80% of the issues, let's talk about those 80% and where we agree. And, you know, maybe next conversation we'll talk about the 20% that we disagree and hash some of that out.
That's like me with the ladies. Like, I agree with the ladies on a lot of stuff. Ladies, love y'all. You know, we know that a lot of times y'all are in very, you know, very bad predicaments and all that. There are good men like myself, like my brother right here, you know, that we advocate for your safety. We want to have y'all as well equipped as possible. But we also bring up the 20% of bullshit that's occurring that needs to be corrected, right or wrong.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
But it's about, yeah, for me it's about how you handle that 20%.
Mhm.
So, you know, to follow in Larry's footsteps a little bit, you know, and to quote him again, you know, you can be as right or as left as you want, as long as you're not forcing your ideologies onto somebody else. And so that includes libertarians. Like, a lot of people misunderstand that quote. You know, we're still not supposed to be forcing our libertarian ideologies on people. We're supposed to be introducing them to it and showing them the way. But you will never argue someone into a deep philosophical change. You'll never, beat somebody over the head with an economics textbook and get them to believe that economic point. Just like you're never going to beat somebody over the head with a Bible and make them get saved. It's the same thing. I see libertarian outreach and evangelical outreach as the exact same mission, to be handled the same way, I should say. So, it's about showing the love and the acceptance.
I agree with that. My bad.
No,
Did I interrupt?
no, you're good. Go for
I
it.
agree with that full blown.
I think there's
What happens is with libertarians, because I've been on the receiving end of this as well. When libertarians believe in something, like they go strongly towards it, and then along with that, just the basis of the United States Constitution, which again is the foundation of this nation, and shit. And by its its literature, it is declaring individual liberty, and
Right.
freedom to live their life how they want to live. Libertarians are just like, hello, how the fuck you don't get it, blah 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 and shit.
Right. But
but
that goes
again,
back to our conversation about like racism and I mean, I honestly can identify with this significantly less from the libertarian conversation than the racism conversation, because I grew up hella racist, but I also grew up hella libertarian. So I didn't really have that like awakening where I realized that my Republican leanings were wrong and I needed to cast them aside. I at 12 was arguing with my mom about why prostitution should be legal. So I've kind of been a libertarian for most of the time. But it's still, it's
and
still
just to
this-
clarify
yeah.
real quick before anybody gets misconstrued, because there'd be a lot of people that listen, and any little thing that you say could lead them to them getting into their. When you say you grew up racist, just elaborate a little bit more on that to get that
Oh, yeah, I mean, like,
cleared out the way.
I'll be totally honest about that. Like the way that I was raised, in the area that I grew up in.
The area, not your parents.
Honestly, a little bit of both, but for the same thing, them. They grew up in Western New York in an area like a farming area where there are no people of color for the most part. Then they moved to just north of Syracuse, where Syracuse has people of color, and like they were like near Buffalo and Rochester. So like obviously, it's not like they never met people of color. We weren't in like Kentucky or something. But
there was just like
growing
a
up,
level.
like my town, there was like 2 black families in my entire town. They were both like, for lack of a better more racial, more PC term, they were like kind of Oreo families anyway. They were they were both homeschooled, Christian, they were not culturally black. They didn't expose me to any other kind of culture because they were the same as me. They were just a different skin color. So I didn't and then you just watch movies and you watch TV shows, and I watch like
A lot of
Blue Bloods and
indoctrination,
CSI and shit, and
Yeah.
you see all of this crime and shit, and then I was one of those stereotype families that this is a saying, but it was a true thing for my family. When we drove through certain neighborhoods in Syracuse, we'd lock the doors to the car,
And because statistically,
statistics,
the numbers would
Yeah,
show in
like,
these particular
there's
areas.
a shit ton of murders in that neighborhood
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Syracuse, like South Salina Street. You can look it up; it's dangerous. Then I lived on that street in my adulthood, so I grew up really one-sided.
You
like,
saw the
I
stats
think
and the real time
yeah.
of it, yeah, B. And go ahead.
But I saw the real time of the bad part, but I understood that this was just the same
So-
media indoctrination to make me
Yeah.
want to hate another group of people,
Yeah,
or be
okay.
scared of another group of people. That it's bullshit. Same 80-20 rule. We have 80%. I think black and white people have more than 80% of things in common. For the most part, if you're talking about like a really deep culturally separate areas, there might be some differences on more things, but for the most part, we're all the same. We all like food. We all
No, and
like
I'm about
beer.
to leverage it like in your favor even more because I gotta hold my people accountable as well. We're also raised on some racist indoctrination. Oh, you don't trust white people, even within
Yeah.
Hispanics and blacks. Like, be blacks, pure blacks with pure blacks, Hispanics with Hispanics. Like, there's always like these divisions that have been set up until this point in time that we're already working on
Yeah.
getting enlightenment and change, change the perspective, change the behaviors, change the way we go about things, the full-blown like real-time living situation of it. How can we make it better instead of keeping it in a bad negative light and shit. So yeah, we were taught also, yo, look, keep your guard up with white people, and then even within us, blacks, oh, you don't trust Spanish people, oh, don't trust black people. Like, it goes in all different directions, and you're just explaining it from where you experienced it from there, just to get that clarity out. Because again, people don't get that full-blown clarity. They end up in there. And then they want to talk shit, and it's just like, nah, it goes in so many different ways. And again, it reverts back to the importance of voting, because in order to vote, what has to happen before that? Some type of research. Even if it's broad research, but we advocate for more in-depth research. But even if it's broad research, you're still trying to seek out the good in things and the understandings of certain things that could be, either good or bad. And even with the bad things, you're trying to see like what the hell happened here, what caused this, what is the root issue here, and how can it be solved.
Yeah. And I'm very like that's something that I didn't talk about a whole lot, is how I was raised. But it's something that I found out is really important to talk about, because to go back to that same conversation of people that they change their mindset and then instantly expect other people. We need to talk about how we came to the realizations that we did, how we broke free of our prejudices, because that's how we help other people break free of theirs. Like, there are a whole bunch of people still in this country who are exactly where I was 5 years ago, who have never really met anyone from a different point of view, and all of their experiences of like Hispanic people are from music and TV, and they think like a bunch of terrible things, and it's not okay. I'm not justifying racism.
We're acknowledging what has gotten us up until this point, and what we want to do to fix it.
Right. Yeah, there's a big difference between justifying and acknowledging causes.
Yeah.
And acknowledging the fact that the causes might not be the person's direct fault.
No,
like,
of course
it's not. I'm not saying that it's okay to be racist. I'm saying that like a lot of people were raised specifically to be
and
racist.
we're trying to awaken them.
Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of people were raised. Oh, you vote Democrat by default. You vote Republican by default. No other parties exist, even though that's bullshit.
Almost all humans are raised to be sexist.
Women hating men, and then vice versa, men hating women. And again, thank you for bringing that up, because that points my thing out. It's about the actions that we're taking. Right now, we have more men taking actions and being able to help women and all that. And all we're asking for in return is for women to hold bad women accountable and take the actions and equalizing the playing field with men. Instead of promoting a message of division, we're just trying to acknowledge issues and talk about what can we do to solve these problems.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the kind of attack that we need to have on stuff like this. Is there is a very direct goal set out by people in high places in this in all over the place, to pit people against each other for whatever random bullshit reasons they can come up with. They will take any reason that they can come up with to make you hate someone other than the rapist, murderous, pedophile, war criminals that are running this country.
That's true. That's true. Thank you. Matter of fact, yo, that right there within itself earned a heavy. Seriously, that. Oh, and it's funny. We both got the premieres. How you liking the premiere, by the way?
It's good. I don't know if I've ever had Corona premiere. Where
It's the best season one. It doesn't have that taste that makes you want to run like, to the bathroom and number one, and shit. It's more like I could enjoy this. It's very no homo, thirst quenching. It's just, you gotta put a disclaimer on.
Yo,
shit,
I was
'cause-
gonna make a joke
Yeah.
about Corona, and then I realized that I should probably not, because it would get us probably taken down from YouTube. I was gonna make a joke about this curing it or keeping us from getting it, and I'm like, I can't say it. I can't even pretend to
No,
say
because
that.
you got a lot of heavy censorship driven minded bombs within these social media company platforms, places of employment that be all up in there and want to fuck it up for everybody, you know, but they wouldn't like it if it was done to them.
Fact. I know we're on a different platform right now, and you're definitely not watching. But Vijaya Gotti, the PR director for Twitter, is a fucking bitch, and she's so misguided in everything that she does.
Jack Dorsey is another asshole.
Well, Jack
so-
Dorsey. So here's the thing about Jack Dorsey, in my opinion, from my estimation of this, Jack Dorsey is first of all fairly powerless within his company. That was proven by the fact that they fired him and then rehired him.
Oh, so there's already a board of directors.
Yeah. Jack Dorsey
similar to
doesn't
Steve
have that much
Jobs.
power. Yeah, and he wants Twitter to be what they think they are, of this super impartial public forum that promotes everything and doesn't censor anyone unless they're promoting violence or something like that. I truly believe that Jack Dorsey's vision for Twitter was what we all wanted it to be as well, and then he got his company stolen from him basically, and now they still pay him and let him wander around and pretend to be in charge, but it's pretty clear that he's not, and there's other people behind the scenes that are pulling these ropes. And then you have people like their PR director, Vijaya, I think I'm saying that right, Vijaya Gotti. Something.
And if it is mispronounced, we do apologize. And
I need to go back.
my
and
legal
rewatch.
name is constantly mispronounced, so just know if anybody understands where people are coming from, it's me.
Honestly, same.
Oh,
Nobody
really?
can pronounce fight correctly because it's spelled wrong.
Oh.
I get fite more often than
Oh
anything
shit!
else.
I off default just ran with fight, but that's
I mean, phonetically it makes sense, like sight or kite or any of the other fucking words,
bites.
right? It's the way that fight should be spelled. F-I-G-H-T is a stupid way to spell the word fight, if you ask me.
There's a few words that are stupidly
Right.
spelled.
That used to fuck me up in I specifically remember second, third grade English class, learning those simple words like sight and light and the ones that are the IT and the IGHT and trying to differentiate. And before I really got those down, I would just default to the ITE because that's how my name was spelled. So that's how IT is. It's ITE. And I was wrong most of the time because the English language does the other thing more often. And I have a lot of problems with the English language. I have a lot of problems with the American government system. I think I have more problems with the English language. There's just so
Again,
many things that make no sense.
Things to be brought to light,
Right.
and we figure out how to improve it. You know.
Can we fix the English language? Can we actually go through word by word and just change it a little bit and make it make more sense? How do we do that?
I agree that we can. I can't think of any words off the head right now, but there's many that carry silent letters, or based how you would pronounce some, what is it, a synonym, words that are like, well, not
Well, synonym are words that mean the same thing.
no, words that are like
thing.
spelled the same but mean different well,
Homonym.
yeah,
I got
okay,
you.
okay, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff to remember, people.
Right.
You know,
I was literally
most
just
of you,
Googling that the
most
other
of
day.
you only know your recent drama shows and your
Right.
favorite songs and your favorite sports team, and that's it.
I was literally just having a conversation with my mother like a week ago
'Cause
about
it's
the
saying
difference
words.
between a homophone and a homonym.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I knew the answer to that
Yeah,
question. right?
exactly, and thank you for that. You know that's
I
why
got
you
you.
gotta build a team because
Mm-hmm.
you know some people they're good at this, some people are good at that, etc. But yeah, there's plenty of words that are spelled in a certain type of way, and it's just like how do you pronounce it? Like look at it,
Yeah.
and then you're telling me to pronounce it in another fashion, due to just how we've been told to say it, and it's just like well. Spelling it, and if you look at other words that are spelled very similar to this, you would pronounce it in this manner, and it's just like, oh, okay, like, I never would have thought of fight. Look at that,
Yeah.
a fight. You feel me? So that's dope. Knights and IGHC, and then you got Knights and KH
Yeah.
IGHC, and it's like, huh? What? Like really?
Yeah.
Like explain
My
that.
sister's name went from fight to Knighton. So she literally went from like one weird
Oh, one
spelling
weird
to
spell-
the
oh,
other
shit.
weird spelling.
Oh
of
man,
words.
I know your sister. She was probably like this and shit. Like there's no
Oh.
escape.
Right. That one's really easy because it's night on, basically. So my brother-in-law used to say this. My sister does it now too. It's like night on horseback. It's just like an easy way to just like it's night on, like nightin', like it should be easy. I don't know.
No, of course, when you simplify things, again, what guys like you and I do with our, social media platforms, our podcasts, we simplify the political world
Yeah.
and make people realize how it's a lot more in alignment with everyday life than it isn't. Way a lot more. I think 99.9% with the 0.1% is being based on personal choice. If you want to be involved and accept it, or just live about your life and allowing others to contribute to their participation, which will then end up becoming the legislation by which your life must abide by and shit. But yeah, we're simplifying and entertaining the
I don't know if I
information.
can call my show simplifying politics.
It definitely
That
is.
one's fucking. I
It's
have
just you
people
gotta
on my
remember,
show
like,
that
your
confuse
show-
the shit out of me
Your
live
show.
while we're recording.
No, of
I'm
course,
like-
because
I'm
everybody-
like, what are you talking about?
Everybody has different verbiage.
Right. Well, I'm just like
Everybody has
the
different
last
verbiage.
couple of weeks. Like, I'm not trying to be self-deprecating here. I'm just trying to say like the last couple of weeks, I have had people on my show that are talking about shit that I'm just like. That it's just like some galaxy brain shit, and I'm like, all right, I'm with it. I had an awesome person on the show last week, TJ Ferreira. You've been on the state committee calls. He's the one that's running that Porcupine app.
Oh, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Then, by the way,
Fucking awesome, dude.
cool,
He
unique
did-
app for the libertarians. Shout out our fellow porcupines.
Yeah, this guy developed an app to allow people to use Robert's rules, which is what we use for our committee meetings and most nonprofits and political organizations use.
Okay.
Allows people to use that in like both virtual and in-person meetings better, and it just makes life better. So I had him on the show to talk about that app because I knew that he did that, and I'd used it like 3 or 4 times for the state committee. I was like, this is a really cool thing. I'm going to have you on the show. And then I had him on the show, and he starts talking about all the other things that he does and knows about, and like he actually talked about you in this episode because he has a a presentation that he gives about different voting styles, from like first past the post, star voting, like ranked choice voting, like all these different things. The name of this presentation is How Lasagna Will Save America. Or save the world. What?
Does he use a layers example?
No. So what? So I'll tell the story
Go ahead.
quickly for him.
We got 15 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. It all started that him and his wife and his friend's wife were playing poker. Him and his friend started arguing about whose wife made the better lasagna.
Oh.
So they decided next Saturday, we're gonna get together. We're playing poker again.
My bad. Wrong
Both-
sound.
Both
Continue,
wives bring
continue.
the lasagna.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
And we'll decide it. We'll decide who makes the better lasagna.
Did they end up having that competition?
So they did, but what happened was the night before, my friend had the realization that that there's no way to decide this without it being a tie. Like if it's just like the regular voting style, there's 4 people, 2 lasagnas. Obviously, him and his wife are gonna vote for her lasagna. His friend and his wife are gonna vote for their lasagna. So it's gonna be a tie.
Uh-huh.
So he had to figure out a different way to do the voting system to actually decide a winner. And so he went in depth and started researching the different styles of voting and which would actually produce the best and most accurate winner. And thanks to all of that research that he did, he compiled like a whole big presentation on like the different voting styles and which ones maybe you should use for your organizations and stuff. Because a lot of things vote, like not just the people every November vote, but if you have a club
We
or
vote at my job all the time. What
Right.
we're gonna eat if we decide to come together.
right, like
You know,
anytime
we
you
flip
vote,
coins,
you can do different things.
all
So
types of shit.
right, so he wanted to try to educate people on that, and so like that was one thing that like he fucking blew my mind. He's a big advocate of star voting, which is simple. Like everybody understands the idea of like 5-star system, like, but if you really think about it, in a situation like say the 2020 Democratic primary,
Uh-huh.
right? You would get to give like Tulsi Gabbard and Andrew Yang and Marianne Williamson and Bernie Sanders. Let's pretend you're somebody that actually likes all 4 of those people.
Yeah.
You give all 4 of them 5 stars. And like the rest of the people, the like 1 star that they deserve because they're all awful, rather than forcing you to pick like one of those 4 people to support and not really being able to say anything about anybody else. Obviously, like first past the post and plurality voting, the way that we do voting here in America is the worst way you could possibly vote. Ranked choice voting is a little bit better, but there's a whole bunch of different systems that we could use that I'm starting to learn about. And like this has been like a week. Like just within the last week, I found out that there's like better things than ranked choice voting. I've been a huge advocate for ranked choice voting for the last like 3 years. Little did I know there were better things that I could have been fighting for.
Hey, look, man, we learn something new every day. Would you
Right.
agree that that's correct? Exactly. you know?
Amen.
And being that, that we learn something new every day, we take the platforms we've chosen to create and utilize them in a fashion of explaining what we already understand and we realize that plays a super key factor in everyday life. We utilize the social platforms that we've decided to construct for ourselves as an outlet of enlightening to others.
Yeah.
Again, we learn something new every day
For sure.
and shit.
Before I forget about TJ, I'm gonna shout him out one more time and tell you
Shout out.
there's
TJ.
nothing on this webpage, or the site doesn't technically exist yet, but you can go to libertarian.support. It's not, there's no .com, it's just libertarian.support, and there is a page there. I think you can like subscribe to get notifications on when the whole site actually goes live.
Yeah.
But he's trying to, what he's working on is just a place to bring every person that wants to move the liberty movement forward together to help each other in all the different random ways that we need help and can help. So that site's going to be super awesome. I'm really excited to see it go up, and it's going to be happening here pretty soon.
Oh, okay, that's some shit. That's good to hear. We love hearing that happening rather sooner
Oh yeah,
instead of later.
we need a tech revolution.
Again, that goes to show, we would like for things to happen sooner rather than later, and we're just trying to push that message
Yeah.
into let's make things happen sooner rather than later.
Right.
That ties into many things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, B.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see this tech revolution that's gonna happen here. Hopefully, like it's really weird that the Democrats, who are all like fucking boomers that don't understand shit, control so much of technology when like 60% of the Libertarian Party are fucking tech nerds. Like
What
especially
is-
in New York, like we
Yeah.
have how many app developers, like actual like full-time, have real careers in app development, like our Brooklyn chair, and then our next Brooklyn chair, and his vice chair, and like the Manhattan X chair, and like so many people, and yet we don't have any we don't have a lot of libertarian tech.
What it is, being that the party just started gaining its momentum,
Right.
now for years to come, we'll see people coming in,
Yeah. Yeah.
Along with that, with these boomers that a huge chunk are Democrat, as we could all agree on and shit. We've seen with them that they got real carried away with listening to big government,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the message that they ran with while acquiring positions in some type of shape or form of power,
Yeah.
and then that's what we're dealing with against now and shit.
Mm-hmm.
We just started warming up the oven to this shit and layering the lasagna, and we're very close to finally putting this lasagna in the oven and making shit happen.
Fact. Yeah, I mean, I definitely need to take a little bit of my own advice on this one and be patient, but I'm excited because I think it's happening. Like that's why I'm
It's
starting to
definitely
get excited.
happening.
You know,
This
we
is-
have
yeah.
apps coming out now. Like
Yeah.
like Porcupine's a good example. Grasp is a good example. We have a libertarian owned and operated text banking and canvassing app that campaigns are using this year. Like outside of the LP.
Yeah.
So, things are happening. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
In your defense,
Mm-hmm.
what I'll say is again, the reason we want it to happen sooner rather than later
Mm-hmm.
is because people are still facing harms
Oh yeah.
from what's currently enacted into legislation. So it's just like, there's still people being arrested for exercising in a constitutional manner rather than statute manner
Mm-hmm.
their Second Amendment right, their Fourth and First Amendment right, which ties into the war on drugs, freedom of choice,
Oh yeah.
and freedom of privacy to do as one wishes as long as they're not conducting any type of harm
Mm-hmm.
to an outside entity.
Fourth
party,
Amendment
individual.
is the real important one right now. Like we're starting to see that
Especially in the
just
cyber
get
world.
shredded
Yep.
in the tech world. Yeah. And there's a strong argument to be made. Like obviously I don't agree with it, but it's a strong argument, and unfortunately it's going to hold up legally that like our data isn't a property that that we have a right to by the Fourth Amendment, and they're gonna try to make that argument, and they might succeed in it, and just continue to do this shit. But like, we definitely need to put a stand to that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you guys are still using like Google Chrome, this is actually a great example of what I was talking about earlier about like switching a mindset and then being highly critical, because I was about to be a dick. So I just finally switched over all of my browser, like everything. I do not use any Google product at all except for Gmail. I don't use Google Chrome. I don't use Google Search. I don't use anything like that. We've got Brave for the browser, DuckDuckGo for the search engine.
Browser.
Like, we're getting out of this trap of people trying to steal your fucking data. Like, Brave will protects your data in a way that Google Chrome is literally designed to do the exact opposite. It literally warns me every time I click on a YouTube video. It's like, are you sure you want to use this? Or are you sure you want to watch this? Because YouTube has to know a little bit about you if we let you watch this. Like, and you have to say, yes, I'm okay with YouTube knowing a little bit about me.
Yeah,
But you can choose watch on within the search engine, so YouTube only knows a little bit about you, or you can click go to YouTube and fully surrender your data to YouTube. Which, if you're doing that, is fine. Like, if you're doing it consensually, that's a whole different thing. But definitely, yeah, switch over. Stop giving them the power to just, like, fucking stalk you and then sell your information and get rich off of it.
Word, that's true. That's definitely true. You know, thank you for elaborating on that.
Yeah.
People
We need to replace YouTube. That's the thing that, like, we.
What do you think about BitChute? I like BitChute.
I haven't used it that much. I need to play around with it a little bit more.
I'll give you a little tour. You know, once we wrap up here and show what we got 5 minutes left, and sure we could be bringing it home now. I know that, but yeah, BitChute is dope, and yeah, even along with BitChute, there should be more platforms, because you got YouTube, you got Twitch.
Yeah.
You got DLive, you got Trovo, you got many different ones. So it's just like we need more platforms with way less censorship, way less guidelines to follow, and more First Amendment and Fourth Amendment friendly and shit.
Yeah. I think we have a lot better replacements for Twitch than we do YouTube at the moment. Like streaming softwares. Yeah, we've got Trovo, we've got DLive. I'm sure there's others. We're on those two, so we're gonna promote those two a hell of a lot.
And more to come.
Yeah. But I've been looking at Odyssey. It's not spelled correctly. It's spelled really weird, but it's still pronounced Odyssey. That's where Tom Woods is on there, and a couple other libertarian-y. I hesitate to call him libertarian.
Imagine a libertarian created.
LibertyTube. Somebody make me
really?
LibertyTube.
Okay.
No, I don't know. Like, that's not a thing.
I
But
don't
I
know
want it
how
to
that
be a
sounds,
thing.
porcupine soup.
Yeah, something. Like, somebody build this, please. If you're watching this and you have any tech knowledge
We
at
would
all.
do it, but we gotta be realistic. Not everybody's a barber, not everybody's a basketball player, not everybody's a master chef, not everybody's a sniper, not everybody could roll up.
Not everybody can make a lasagna like me and Cash.
Exactly, there you go. Not everybody can make a lasagna like us. Not everybody's a web designer,
Yeah.
so
You make me a YouTube replacement, I'll make you a lasagna.
oh, there we go again. And you cannot deny that. Not one bit. No, I mean, but yeah, brother, man. Again, you know, it all ties back into the importance of voting, because due to policy, legislation, constitutional law, which should come first before any sub-statute that is unconstitutional. Again,
Facts.
for it to be constitutional, it has to be in the actual constitution. Sub-statutes is just an extra door being open for sub-laws that come in secondary position to the United States Constitution to be written, and a lot of them thrive on being infringements, and we got to get the fuck away from that and get back to the basics, bring it back home, bring it back to the foundation of this nation, pardon me, which is the United States Constitution. A lot of y'all talk about y'all got freedom of speech, your First Amendment, but then don't realize you got a bunch of other amendments that work in your favor and protect you from big brother government. So wake up from that indoctrination and start getting involved, please and thank you. The best party to get involved with is the Libertarian Party. Why? We make the most logical, constitutional, and individual right-driven sense. Yeah, brother, man. So yeah, that's
You
the
get that
importance.
thing for yourself over here? Like,
okay, sure.
god damn, like, fuck yeah. Fucking killing it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Vote gold, bitches.
Haha, vote gold, bitches. But yeah, you know, in closing, we've talked about the importance of voting, given a few examples of vast different, you know, things that could tie into it, and you know, brought about certain individuals who be, you know, either about that shit or not about that shit. You know, before we wrap up, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to? Or anything?
Oh yeah. So damn, that's a long list now because there's just too many people that I've met in the last couple of weeks. But just within the last couple of days, there's been some awesome people. Shout out Zach Josephs, who's been helping me out with the crypto world and getting involved in there, and helping be my financial advisor, even though he's kind of fucking clueless about that normally. But he got into crypto and helping me do that. So he exists. Shout out him. Shout out everybody in the Brooklyn LP and the New York LP that's been just getting shit
being
moving.
productive, yeah.
Yeah.
Shit done.
Shout out
exactly.
Rebecca Lau specifically because she doesn't get nearly enough love from anybody.
Okay, shout out Rebecca Lau. Definitely.
She's the Manhattan vice chair and she does so much fucking work and does not
She does, yeah. I can't take that
so
away from
much.
her. She definitely does.
Shout out Matt Morgan, Brooklyn chair, just got reelected to serve a second term. Shout out Romo Hallahan, who just got elected vice chair in Brooklyn, and he's gonna do some awesome stuff there. Damn, I'm spacing. There's just too many awesome fucking people in this.
There's a
movement.
bunch of people in the Liberty movement. Feel free to DM us
Yeah.
at the Fix for New York on Instagram and yours if you want to tell them, brother.
At Fight for Liberty, FITE. In case you didn't know that, and you completely missed the jokes earlier about my name.
Rewind it or catch it on the
Right.
feedback.
FITE for Liberty on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, just about everything.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. You know, shout out from me, you know, all our fellow libertarians, you know, all of our people in New York and worldwide and shit. Whether you're libertarian, not a libertarian, whether you're Puerto Rican, Cuban, Venezuelan, Irish, German, you know, somewhere within the nations of the continents of Africa, etc. Somewhere within the nations in the continents, well, not continent, but giant land that we call Asia, because it's still, what continents is that? Is it the Asian continents? I'm not sure it is. 'Cause, you
Well,
know,
there's
this is
Asia
big-
and then there's Europe.
yeah, there's this
Two
big
different
argument.
continents.
There's this big argument, you know, within 5 or 7 continents. So it's like, you know, certain divisions. Yeah, you could look it up. That's between 5 and 7. Part of it is due to
Five being combining North and South America and
Yes, that's
Eurasia. Okay.
Part of it,
All right,
yeah.
I can see that. All right,
Yeah,
that's
so
cool.
that's like a big debate there as well. But yeah, people, you know, it's been a great talk. Remember, it's important for us to vote. That's how we're gonna get our constitutional rights back. For those of us who like doing, you know, all types of things, is the way we're gonna be able to, you know, restore our liberty to do all types of things as much as we want without any type of penalties from the tyrannical and constitutional infringement enforcing red codes that are currently active right now. I can fully explain abolishment, but I am content with heavy, extensive reform. Some of you people take things way too to the heart and get all up in your when I talk about women, I'm not saying all women. I'm just pointing out the huge portion of bad women that needs to be held accountable, and action for the good women to come together and acknowledge these bad women do exist and how they're gonna hold them accountable to the same caliber that us good men hold bad men accountable. You know, so many things that we've talked about this evening. You know, the importance of voting is very crucial. Best option right now is voting libertarian. Know what I mean? Right or wrong, brother man?
Facts.
Yeah, you
Facts
know.
on facts on facts.
This has been the Fix for New York podcast. I'm one half of the show, your boy Cash First. My co-host Z Dot could not be here with us this evening, but we did have, you know, our special guest, the amazing, intelligent, driven, goal-oriented, my brother on some thug shit himself. The motherfucking fight, baby, fight for motherfucking liberty. Fight for liberty at Twitter, Instagram, any other social media?
YouTube,
platform?
Facebook.
YouTube, Facebook. There you go. Now me. You got so many platforms to reach us out at, my brother. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, and you're welcome here anytime. You know that shit. Shout out all the libertarians running for office. Stacey Preston,
Oh yeah.
Martha Bueno, Ken Ruff will be running. Hopefully Larry Sharp runs again. A bunch more running for office. Too many names to remember right now. But you already know, is a lot of love in this motherfucker. This has been the Fix for New York podcast. Shout out Free Speech Media. Nah, I mean, let's get it. Our fellow libertarians, our fellow
Facts.
porcupines. Let's make it happen and restore the constitutional republic to its purest and most legit form. Till next time, folks. Holla at y'all. God bless and take care. Nah, I mean.